Bring that back here. Now listen to this.
I'll just say what I got to say.
Right.
I'm here to destroy this fucked up system. I will do it. That's why I got the job. I said, let it be me. I said, use my hands, I will use our strength. Let's fucking burn it to the ground.
1995. This is the year I met Anton Newcomb and his band, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. Anton was by far the craziest and most talented musician I had ever met. I'm Courtney Taylor from the Dandy Warhols. Anton was my friend and my enemy, the greatest inspiration, and ultimately the greatest regret. This is the story of us and our bands over 7 years.
Took forever to get down here.
We just gotta get the Anthony's move in, baby.
Our car broke.
Hi, I've been waiting to meet you. Hey, pleased to meet you.
Hi.
So where you want to go play tonight?
Right fucking here.
I guess we gotta take the shit back to the practice space anyways.
No, let's go somewhere.
No, we gotta have a revolution, man. We just gotta usher this shit in.
If somebody wants to distribute our records and allow us absolute freedom, then I'm not opposed to people making money. It's a mafia. And until they can write the letter that I'm writing, they are the postman and I'm the letter writer, period. End of
We got a
discussion.
party to go to tonight. We got a party to play, yeah.
All right, great now.
Gonna play a party?
210 Waller Street.
Hello, hello, you guys ready? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce a band that knows where I live, the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
What's different about Jonestown? It's real. It's the band that you love to hate and the band that you hate to love. Live performances are infamous for them.
This is my 12th time I've seen
Brian
Massacre.
Jonestown.
Really? 12.
Within 6 months.
I was completely blown away. I've never seen anything like that. It was like so retro and so the future. It was mayhem on stage. 3 guitar players, tambourine player, an insane singer. The music was fantastic. I've never seen anything like it.
The only band I've ever made the effort to go and see in the last 3 years is Brian Jonestown.
Anton, to me, is the best 60s revivalist there has been since the 60s.
What made it so interesting was that it was not an act of invention. It was not based off of any pretense of crafting something new. It was a thoroughly postmodern music. It was a pastiche of everything.
Musically, he's a genius. Oh, I think he has an incredible ear for music and for reinterpreting the past and putting it in the future. It's American heritage reinterpreted.
Anton created this kind of scene, and everyone else has built upon it.
This is one of my friend's bands that between us and a couple other bands, we're actually going to kick off a full musical revolution. So forget about the other bands. This is a whole nother level of the American underground that I'm going to help expose. So tell me right now you've never ever heard the Dandy Warhols before.
I've never heard the Dandy Warhols before.
Well, let's just see what they sound like.
So get ready for a massive concussion of rock and roll with the Dandy Warhols.
We write our kinds of music together. We're really good friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've got a full-scale revolution going on. Really bitchin'.
In Portland?
Yeah, we're neighbors. We're building a studio. Is that rad?
Where you're building a studio?
Yeah, we're getting down. We're gonna take over the world. Yeah. And we're gonna show you how to do it too.
How to take over the world?
Fuck
in
yeah.
5 steps?
On your movie.
We actually got a tape of Anton's like about the same time we formed the band. And then a year later, we went down to San Francisco to play some parties, and sure enough, Anton walked in, and we definitely recognized him instantly. There could be nobody else.
We're playing, and these 2 guys walk in, just like Mr. Cool in their black leather junkie jackets and all this stuff, and we're like, all right, who's that?
They just looked amazing. Like, they had the fucking coolest hair, and they were styled out, like, so hip that it was like, it kind of intimidated us. We were like, oh my God, you know? This is kind of what we expected from a big city, you know? It's like, oh shit. And then we just like hung out all night and just got fucking loaded.
Yes, won't you join us? God, that E just wore off in a hot second.
It was awesome. We had like the best time.
Right on, brother.
So we got the best band in America. Wow, they're so fucking amazing. No label will touch them. They're so crazy. I've never seen them eat. All I've seen them do is like drink liquor and snort drugs. That's all they do, you know?
It's funny.
Joel, you want some more?
Yes. Please.
Oh my God! This is a very strange gathering.
I suppose it's time for a costume change.
They're just our buddies. They're our alter egos in some way, inspiring each other to create and be successful.
Our bands played together a lot over the next couple years, and it was rock.
People will always say, you know, well, what music do you like at the moment? And I would say, you know, Brian Jonestown Massacre and the Dandy Warhols. Jonestown and the Dandies have a window of opportunity. They can relate to suburban people, drug people, and they can also relate to literary people, and also to people who have some real knowledge of how music develops.
In 1996, my band, the Dandy Warhols, were in a studio in our hometown of Portland, Oregon, recording our first album for Capitol Records. Now, unlike the Brian Jonestown Massacre, we had just signed with a major label, and of course, they thought we were going to be the next big thing.
They have the potential to be a very big band because they have created a world of their own, and it's an Andy Warhol's world, and that they don't therefore belong to any particular trend.
Now, our first record for Capitol took 2 tries. first time it got rejected, they had the gall to tell me that there was no songs.
It just really pissed me off, and I got all uppity about it. And who are you to tell me what a song is? You who have written so many songs. How many? None between the two of you, ever? So then I think I ended that by saying, I sneeze and hits come out. To which Perry said, well, if that's the case, well, I'm sure Capitol will have no problem finding the funds to finance your handkerchiefs.
I think it's like something, what is it, like 85 to 90% of all records made never recoup, which doesn't mean to say you really, really succeed. That's all you do is recoup. So the odds are that the Dandy Warhols, like everybody else, will fail.
Today, I mixed 13 songs, starting at 7 a.m., was done by 1 o'clock, found a drummer, taught him all the tunes, didn't do anything else on my birthday.
1996, the Brian Jonestown Massacre had a record out. They were on a lot of A&R hot lists. They were in hit magazines as one of the bands that was the most courted. It's a fabulous record.
People are jealous of our sheer ambition that we have, and the fact that we're like the most prolific people probably in North America.
The Brian Jonestown Massacre had released 3 full-length albums in just that year. Their Satanic Majesty's Second Request, Take It From the Man, and Thank God for Mental Illness.
When he tells me he doesn't want to sign with a major label, is he serious? He wouldn't go that route?
He always talks about doing it, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. That's why we came down here.
Yeah, that's why we came here.
His whole thing, he wants to try and rip him off in some way or something. He wants to...
Well, he doesn't want them to take advantage of him.
Yeah, but in order to not get taken advantage of, he wants to take advantage of everybody else, you know? And then you're just as corrupt as the system that you're trying not to be corrupted by.
5, 6, 7, it's magic.
The guy he doesn't know how to support himself. He's been homeless for 5 years or so.
Matt Hollywood was Anton's like cranky little brother who probably wanted to be Anton, knew he wasn't quite as talented as Anton, still wrote some really, really great songs and sang them well, but Anton never really let him have the spotlight the way that he could have or should have or needed to. I think Anton understands that what he's doing is part of a continuum of rock music, almost like he is someone from the 60s who just happens to be living here now and is totally lost and doesn't really understand the ways that people do things.
I'm just saying, don't fuck with me.
I'm not fucking with you. I'm trying to explain things to you, and if you don't want to listen to the way people feel, if you don't want to listen to other people's opinions, then fucking go off and do it yourself and be loved by your fucking self, and nobody will love you because you don't want to deal with other people.
Cool, and I won't have any headaches either.
Well, great.
I don't do anything wrong, that's why I don't say I'm sorry.
You do things wrong, and that's the fucking first step in being human, is realizing that you do and making them better.
You guys are fucking cracked, man. I don't even fucking worry about this shit because I don't fucking do it wrong. I'm just telling you that.
You know what every religion makes people fucking, you know what, every fucking spiritual belief, you burn in hell for pretending to be God and not being able to back it up.
I don't like being robbed from, and it's highly against the law, stealing from people.
How have you been robbed?
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Seymour Stein told me, sign him right away. With a name like that, you can't go wrong. You have my blessings. Go, girl. And, but I yet had to convince a couple of other people in the company. And I took my boss, Nancy Jeffries, who was the head of the A&R department, to a show in Los Angeles that we set up especially for her, so she could witness them and make up her own opinion and see if we wanted to put mega dollars behind them. And it was the biggest disaster I had ever witnessed.
Hell yeah. So these songs we're playing tonight, we have a lot of records. We put out 6 full-length albums this year. And that's why we're going to get the biggest record deal in history, because we're smart. Ready?
Now, if Anton thought that anyone screwed up during a song, he would immediately correct them.
be on my stage with my band. Fuck you, get off my stage because you don't have the band. So what was that first song? I Am Love,
This guy wasn't long for the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Okay, I need a fucking drink. I'm not getting paid. Send a waitress up here right now. Else we're fucking leaving. We already played for these people that stay for us. I'm working harder than you, motherfucker! Alright, this next song is about love. And it's called, well, Love. Hey, quit! Hey, I'm gonna have the bouncers beat you up if you don't stop stepping on their mics, man. They don't like that. Pick that shit up. Pick the fucking shit up and quit. Hey, you fucking asshole, you get out of here too. I'll play by myself and you go have a drink. Bye, watch.
Stand the fuck back, motherfucker! Fucking broke my sitar, motherfucker.
You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Did you get hurt? Is that blood on you?
Yeah.
From where?
From
Your
people's
hand.
faces.
He wants to be a rebel. He doesn't want to conform. He wants to be successful in one part, but he can't admit that to himself. So he completely sabotaged that showcase. He knew what was at stake. He knew he could have gotten $1 million deal if he had played it right.
I think my running total is 21 official quits of the band.
After last night, are you still in the band?
I don't know. Nobody punched me, so I guess I'm clear.
From most band conflicts I've seen, usually it's because 2 or 3 guys in the band can't get along together because of some girlfriend or because they both want to write songs. Or it's some kind of typical situation like that. This is not a personality conflict, it's a vision of the world. Sometimes people go past the boundaries of good and evil or whatever boundaries of common sense we all operate under into another realm. And we call these people prophets. Jesus Christ was a person like this. So is Charles Manson. They transcend the normal world and they set their own...
Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, exactly, standards.
Yeah.
And Anton sees himself in that mold. That's where his problem comes, you know, trying to integrate his mystical vision with his messed up personality, and it's really heart-wrenching to see it. He's not just a jerk, you know. He's almost like one of these people who stumbles out of the desert screaming, "I've seen God," you know. We understand that we are your backup musicians and we take musical direction from you. You, on the other hand, understand that we are human beings and don't want to be treated like shit. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
In his mind, no one can play the music as well as he could. You know, if Anton had his way, he would clone himself, and he'd have 6 other Antons or 5 other Antons, and they'd all be playing the instruments. And Anton on drums, Anton on bass, Anton on all the guitars, and whatever.
He's his own worst enemy because he thinks success and credibility are mutually exclusive terms, which is an easy baggage to inherit, but a very difficult one to haul through every decision of your career. Because as a musician, you want to reach the biggest possible audience, and as an artist, you want to impact culture in the deepest way possible.
I'm not for sale. Do you understand? I'm not for sale. Nobody says that.
What are you trying to do then?
I'm fucking love. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the Beatles? The Beatles were for sale. I give it away. It cost me $17. I paid for this record, right? I used the money.
It cost you 17 bucks?
17 bucks to make Thank God for Mental Illness. No shit. And I'm gonna show you because we're gonna go up to Oregon. I'm gonna record a bunch more records so you can see.
Anton had been threatening to move to Portland for months, but when he finally showed up with all of his belongings, we realized that he had intended to move in with us. We couldn't really take him in.
I'm in Portland now, kids. It's a rough trip.
It was a rough trip.
Yes.
Going up top floor, pantyhose, illegal drugs, and cigarettes. Oh, you're supposed to push stop!
Oh well, my hairspray.
Protective.
And after rinse for that hole that the weather you just can't count on.
Hello, darling. I'm home. What's the tea?
Do you find Portland creatively inspiring?
No, I find it dismal. It was a terrible mistake to come up here, but we did it. And now that we're here, there's nothing we can say, huh?
Do you feel like you're in exile here?
Oh, baby.
How's that novel coming?
It's really been good for my hopeless, like, isolated, like, life is shit kind of vibe.
Did anybody in the band invite Anton to move up here? Or
Well,
suggest it would be a good place for Anton to move or anything?
I don't know. That's like inviting Anton to your house. It's a small town. I don't know.
Maybe he expected to stay with us, and we weren't gonna have him stay.
And make a record with them, and
yeah, and we went on with our lives because we actually had stuff to do. We had to get that record done. We had to get it out.
Yeah, we were being productive.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
we played a New Year's show that year, and Joel, of course, came to party. I didn't notice at the time, but Anton didn't show.
Any resolutions this year, Courtney?
Any revolutions for this year, Courtney?
Yeah, I'm gonna get this like a tattoo of this here. I like this because it makes me feel like Amadeus.
Hence my theory that Andy Warhols are nothing but a bunch of fags.
Right there.
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Quiet. The artist needs quiet. The artist is going to create a sound for its concise purpose using a modular synthesizing apparatus from Radio Shack. One, 2, 3, 4. Say goodbye to Mom and Dad, the two best friends I never had. To be knowing where I'm going, how I'll show.
Tony's raised in a very affluent society. He had every advantage a child could possibly have. I mean, he had a lot of disadvantages. He was raised by a single parent. He didn't have a father.
Well, see, that was my fault being an alcoholic. I had left the family. When he was about a year and a half old, I had shown symptoms of schizophrenia, and I drank every day.
You have to look at, here's a very, very superiorly intelligent child who knows what the curfew is, who knows that Newport Beach strongly enforces the curfew, who has been arrested 50 times for it, and yet continues to do it. So when they called me at work and said, you need to come and pick him up, when I went to the Newport Beach jail, I said, I'm not taking him. I'm not picking him up. I'm tired of doing this. And they said, but you have. I said, no, I don't have to. What are you going to do? Because I'm not picking him up. I told him, the last time, next time, I won't come get you. So he was taken to the adolescent unit by the police, not by me. I signed the papers as his guardian, but he was taken there by the police.
I hate to see him repeat his life like myself, you know. 2 divorces and not getting a chance to raise your kids.
There was times when Tony appeared under the influence. There was times when he was growing pot, and I was the first one to call the police and have him come here and get it. And I guess I sort of thought eventually he'd get over all this nonsense and he'd grow up and he'd get a real job, but he never has.
He feels starved for affection, I think, love, you know. And as a father, you know, I probably failed immensely, you know, and I feel guilty about that. You know, and if he has abandonment issues, they're as much my responsibility as his. You know, I noticed the album he gave me is Thank God for Mental Illness.
Sad, isn't it? Extremely sad. They are the best two friends I never had.
He has he really, as near as I can tell, doesn't have any family he can fall back on. He doesn't have any money, doesn't have a home. It's enough to drive anybody crazy. Now, I think he's a little bit on the edge besides that, but, you know, it's amazing he can be as sane as he usually is.
Actually, he has nobody. You know, he gets help because some people are with him, we are all with him, but I don't think his family has ever been very helpful for him.
When we got together, we all realized our parents were all still married, and we were like, hey, we're the most well-adjusted band in America. We're the most well-adjusted band in America. The BJM returned to LA. Anton promised Greg Shaw of Bomp Records his next album in exchange for the money to rent a house in Los Angeles. He and Joel invited the rest of the BJM to take rooms in the house so they could make the big industry push. Even Jeff Davies, Anton's genius guitarist who had battled heroin addiction, returned from rehab, full of hope.
I've been on couches and floors for so damn long. I'm very digging the idea of having a door that you can close.
Hey, where's Anton at? He's taking Courtney to the airport.
I had been meeting with Capitol as I was finishing the record. I wanted Anton's opinion on a song everyone expected to be a massive hit.
Yeah, Anton, this is like such a ridiculous, like, super fucking hit.
Okay, yeah. I'm ready to get silly.
Yeah.
I never thought you'd be a junkie because heroin is so passe.
Anton didn't react at all. It kind of bummed me out, but I think I knew why.
Anton inspired Courtney to go much farther than he's ever gone before. It was definitely both of them kind of wanting to be the other person. I know Courtney's always wanted that mad genius thing, but is unable or unwilling to let himself go that far.
Anton and Courtney, love-hate relationship, I guess. I think they feel like they're on the same level in a lot of ways with creative ability. You know, they challenge each other. They feel each other's fire.
I didn't have time to reflect much on Anton's lack of interest in my new song because mega celebrity fashion photographer David LaChapelle agreed to do our video. Capitol threw down $400,000 to make this happen. Suddenly, it felt like we were going to be big time.
Big money! Turn around and look at that. That's cool. Now where exactly does that fit in Daily World?
I didn't know it was going to be a deaf advertisement.
Yeah, the 80s angle.
The 80s angle.
I wasn't sure about the 80s angle.
Surprise.
I'm not going to really collaborate, you know. If it's great, I'm going to think you're fucking great. If it's not, I'm going to be really pissed off at you.
Courtney's having second thoughts about the entire video.
If we could just reshoot just the band stuff, like in once my hair grows out a bit.
Okay, redo it. If we have to redo it because of the hair.
I think they drove out
To the junkie video shoot. Yeah, I'm sure we told
were
them
friends.
about it and said, come on over and eat some free food.
Steal some vitamins.
What a wonderful waste of money. Before they sold a product, just on one video, they were in 500 grand or more.
I think I'm beginning to grasp the concept here. The theme is, am I wrong? Passe things that are passe. The whole thing.
Whoa, look at this. Is this all for the Dandies?
Yeah,
you should have seen them just performing on that stage. Wow. Yeah. What's gonna happen for us?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for a good gig.
Brian Jonestown Massacre left our video shoot convinced that we had blown way off course.
I'm sober. I dig everything. Hello, Mr. Policeman.
I'm white.
The guys in the Brian Jonestown Massacre actually did the drugs we were singing about, and still they seem to miss the irony in the song. And whereas some members were able to use dope and be somewhat functional, it seemed to bring out a really dark side of Anton.
Why don't you just fucking take her out of here? She's crazy or something. Fuck, I asked her just to leave me alone for a fucking minute. And now she wants to like smash shit and pull my hair.
She wants fun.
Fuck that!
She just wants fun.
Go to sleep. It's 2
You
o'clock
told
away.
me before we
Fuck
came
this!
here.
Leave!
I wasn't gonna do dope with Jeff every day. That's so fucking
Leave me alone.
Harry makes him evil, and he doesn't know that because he can't see himself, you know, when he's not Harry. I mean, I love Anton. I'd like to stay with him, but not like that, you know.
Sophie left Anton and never returned. She actually joined the band, the Minstrels, fell in love with George, lead singer, and together they moved to Tahiti. Back at the house, the band was preparing for a new record and summer tour.
Time is a handle, life is on the wall. Turning, the gun drops.
We should have a fucking party here.
Well, the Brian Jonestown had a party to show us their new house and their cool scene. Apparently, it was a pretty good party. In fact, that's Harry Dean Stanton right there. But we couldn't make it over because we were hanging in the hot tub and partying with David LaChapelle and his entourage.
There they are. All right, bring the film crew. Oh, nice hat.
Hello. Hi.
Look at the fingers.
I decided that the BJM house, the day after they threw a party, would be the perfect location for a Dandy Warhol's photo shoot. What I want to do is I want to go out to this really, really fucked household. Yeah, well, I didn't bother to warn the guys.
When we did the photo shoot in their house, I just couldn't believe it. They had no furniture, hardly. Everything was on the floor. It was like a squat, a hovel. How do you guys live like this? There was dish soap on the kitchen table and maybe an empty 40-ouncer and some guitar amps and stuff in the living room.
Not Hollywood. There's a lot of people walking into your house right now. There's a whole photo shoot about to happen. And your house is trash. You guys partied last night.
I think is that the idea of having the photo shoot here so that they can pretend that they had a big party?
They've come for our minds.
This is great. It's got 2 minutes.
You guys, we have to do this other one because there's like, it's tiny and there's 2 mirrors that face her like this so we can get the total like shot with a bunch of reflections.
You're the cat. You're the cat.
You're the cat, man. Mike.
Yeah.
Gonna kill you.
So you looking here again? Good. Okay.
We're topping our whole gig. We have to live that, baby.
Oh, no, we're certainly not going to say it's our house. It'll be like...
No, well, you're not gonna say it's our house either now, are you?
Yeah, we are. We're going to say
No,
it'll be
really?
like Capsule One.
We should be
Every
in the
day, the
background.
Dandy Warhols wake up together in the home of a different band. Today, it's the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
But how much do we get paid?
I know, we're talking about dough, baby.
Dough.
Where's the dough? Where's the dough? Where's the dough?
Now if we take pictures in our own house, people are gonna accuse us of ripping you guys off in our own house.
I guess the Brian Jonestown Massacre wanted revenge. So when they scammed some time at a local studio, they wrote us a song.
Now if you're the last fucking dandy on earth. That's the name of our song. She looks like she's about ready to get robbed to me, you know? I want those fucking bastards dead. They're jeopardizing the dandy's career. Pretty hot, huh? In fact, I'll put it on. It's so fucking funny. Move on over, dandy.
They had scammed a week to record from an A&R rep who believed in them. So as usual, Anton moved into the studio, had a bunch of his friends over, and squeezed out an entire album called Give It Back.
what you're doing.
Do it more, baby, yeah.
You got speed to burn.
Pass it over here.
You guys were fucking crazy at the Viper.
Oh, you saw that?
Holy mackerel. I shot that. That's a fucking 3-ring circus if I ever saw one.
Dig. But now I put pipe organs. Doesn't it sound so fucking psychotic? It's all.
Full speed ahead, Captain.
And all the sounds I can make with my noise, so my mouth.
Day at the studio with the BJM.
Is that teamwork?
It's such an interesting case study. Like, what in the end will yield people success? We're like, shit, man, what if it doesn't happen?
This Is Why You Love Me is recorded already 2 steps of notches above that, so it just blows up their speakers with a I heard you say. Okay, so that song dies out and then it's immediately satellite will just kind of like that is it's just like
The band finished the record and prepared to hit the road the next morning on their first national tour. They never before tried to pull this off. They were sure they would finally get signed, so long as Anton could hold it together out there.
We're rolling out of town at 7 p.m.
Walking down the street and this truck pulls up or drives by next to us, and I hear there's 2 dick suckers there. And it's just like, whatever, man. Laugh all you want, redneck. I'm on my way to your girlfriend's house.
It was kind of embarrassing though, because we were sucking each other's dicks at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that everybody came. This is our first time through America.
Under the local Communist Party's headquarters, the band played for an audience of 10 and performed for almost as many hours.
I got some pussy now.
I miss shit. I can't listen to this. I don't cool, man. Oh, I can play fucking computer games. I can fucking escape into a fantasy.
I can get you to Chicago and then also leave you
escape
here.
into a fucking fantasy world, and now you have us, and you have a fucking life.
No, you don't give me any life. You're not life. You guys are dead. You're just fucked up dead. I've been busting my ass for you pussies for so long, and I get your fucking mouth and I get your shit. I will fucking kill you.
Matt and Peter left, intending to walk back to California.
We're gonna go on no matter what.
Not without Matt and Peter. To New York.
It's gonna go on no matter what.
Not this trip.
This trip's going on no matter what. I'm going to New York with or without these people, whether they play or don't play.
Well,
I'll turn it into vacation if I have to. I ain't out here for nothing, man.
basically the guys walked off
away from our whole camp in the middle of the night, drunk as hell, and Peter, being this young, immature, fucking stupid, here comes a cop, hippie fucking dumbass that he's being, went with them, and they walked away from my scene completely, and we've been up the alleyways back and forth. Here comes the sun. It's the next day. We've been looking forever, and they're not here. I'm sober, and I drank a lot more than they did, and I'm sober now. They haven't come back. Therefore, what do? Choice one, we leave Peter and Matt in Chicago forevermore and never see them again.
We finally found him. We were miserable, and we knew the whole time that the dandies are out there somewhere, living the high life.
We came back to Los Angeles to discover that Capitol had not been promoting our choice for a second single, Boys Better, because our first single, Junkie, hadn't broken the top 20 on US radio. I called the label, but couldn't get anyone to assume responsibility.
Well, I'd really love to have a successful single. I'd like to have, Yeah, You haven't scheduled any time, like a week or whatever, to do radio? As early as possible would probably be really good for my band, at least. You're saying that you don't carry a lot of weight around Capitol?
Well, I'm just telling you that it's not up to me, really. Yeah, but everybody says it's not up to them around there.
The Suits were clearly disappointed that our band hadn't turned out to be an overnight sensation. Apparently, the Junkie video had been put on hold because Capitol repoed the footage from La Chapelle. I thought they put too much makeup on me.
Take my name off of it. I talked to Courtney last night. He's like, he doesn't want any close-ups in it. He wants it to be a performance spectacle. He wrote me this moochy coochie letter. Compared me to Salvador Dali and Man Ray, and like, you can do whatever you want, and this and that. And then, as soon as I'm done with the video, he thinks he can just start screaming at me at the top of his fucking lungs and like acting like a huge spoiled baby Huey. But he's not like an alternative rock star. He's a pop star. I mean, he's like an R&B act or something. Like, I'm obsessed with their face and how they look. I said to him, this is how you look. This isn't some weird, sort of special effecty video where, this is like, pretty diffused light on you. And you look, Zia looks like how Zia looks. The dancers looked how they looked. And you look how you look. And that's how you look. This is you.
What did he say?
He started screaming that he's done thousands of videos. He used the word thousands. I've done thousands of videos and I know how I look.
Dealing with diva fashion photographers and evasive record label executives was starting to really get me down. It seemed the only inspiration I found at the label was looking through the pictures of the shoot we staged at the Jonestown house.
Didn't we have fun at the Brian Jonestown house?
So I found one of those driveway car deals, caught up with the Brian Jonestown massacre in Detroit, and found out that Anton had written a couple songs for me.
Courtney Taylor, you're a hell of a guy, don't you know? I met you in the van after the show.
Okay, this song's called Not If You Were the Last Dandy on Earth. Ready?
Take my money, take my time, take my sister, I don't mind.
It's psychotic, huh?
Dude, that's so good.
I will personally tolerate more shenanigans from that fucking Anton than I will anyone else, just because he makes and has made such unbelievably powerful and important records. Well, they didn't know what to call this one. A newspaper called it a riot. See, the audience had attacked the film crew for filming the band, and then jumped the band. I thought it was fantastic.
You fucked with our people.
I love this. This is great. This doesn't happen to my band. This happened to my band. This is cool.
Yeah, that was funny. It's pretty amazing that those guys make it through any gig without a fight.
There's this great sense of expectation and anticipation when one goes and sees Brian Jonestown Massacre about exactly what could go down. Will there be a knife fight? Will one of the band members decide they hate the other person so much they're going to slam them in the head? Will they dissipate and fall apart after one song? Or will someone antagonize the audience so much that you'll end up in a brawl? I mean, you just never quite know what's going to happen. Or will they even make the show?
You go and see a show and you talk to your fellow A&R people and say, oh, by the way, I flew down there and I saw them and they're insane. They can't do it. Too bad. We love them. We wish them good luck, but can't work with them.
Are you gonna be like a big waste of money where they dump all this money, you make like a record, and then somebody kills, you guys kill each other, or just split up, or whatever, you know?
But I totally disprove that shit. I'm like the most productive, and I refuse to give up, and I show up and play.
They don't see that though. They just see We've been driving since Detroit. Been quite a while. Been driving with Dean and Anton in this car, trying to stay awake and smoking a lot of grass, doing a lot of dope, snorting China White.
So how far are we going today?
All the way, baby. Yeah, this is kind of nutty, you know? Like, this is how bands break up, if they didn't know that. Ours almost did, you know? Oh, gee, you got like a pack of fucking junkies on the road, not eating much, drinking a lot, doing dope, and not sleeping. Is anybody gonna get grumpy and irritable and start fighting with each other at all? No, probably not. It's not my tour, so I'm just having a good time.
Can I get some reverb in the house?
All right.
I saw Dylan the Gerties in 1963. You know, I've been listening to this for the last 35 years. You guys, whatever it is, these guys have it. What's the name of the group again? Brian Jones?
Town Massacre.
I saw this record, Satanic Majesties, and I went home and listened to that record probably about 100 times in a row, and I was totally obsessed with it, and I didn't know what the Brian Jonestown Massacre was. I didn't know if it was a new band or an old band. I didn't know if it was one person or 100 people. I just loved this record and then saw in the paper that they were playing 3 shows.
You guys are great, man.
And I went to all 3 shows.
I'll just say I'm having the greatest time of my life. First time ever been to New York.
And on the 3rd one, I asked Peter Hayes, who's now in Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, who was in the band at the time, if he could introduce me to Anton. I wanted to give Anton my number so he could call me, and I didn't have anything to write on except for this card that I had in my wallet of all my important phone numbers. I crossed out all my numbers, I wrote down my number on there and gave it to him, and I was like, you're the only person that I need to talk to now.
Take you down to the place I'm going. More than treasures found, it's just been knowing you.
I didn't know anything about their reputation, and I was like, anyone who's making music this good deserves to have a record deal and deserves to be signed.
Hey, listen. Hey, Dennis. When people like you and Dave that know us and are hanging out, and fucking drunk guys are hassling Matt in the front, you grab Matt, or you grab a bouncer, or you grab the fucking drunk guy. I don't want no hassles out of people that fucking like these leeches behind me that just fucking
hang out and don't do shit when you need it.
I quit. Anton is a great songwriter and an arranger, but he is so horrible in so many ways. I mean, we could talk about truths about me, but luckily I'm not on trial, and he is.
I won't. Who's on trial?
Anton.
With who?
That thing.
You fired David yesterday.
I've been sitting out here in this damn van all day. I've been looking at all these penthouses and all these gutters, going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It's really that.
So is Anton gonna be able to work something out, get you guys back on the road?
You're having the time of our life, and the shows are getting better and better, and people are really going nuts. He's gonna totally try and like negotiate an immediate like one-off record, and like he could advance us the money. I go, cool, because if I can get a third up front, we'll buy a fucking van.
Taxi!
The Brian Jonestown left New York the next morning to play a round of shows in the South, but only got as far as Homer, Georgia.
How you doing?
Insurance, please.
Okay, it's hers.
Oh, okay, well, need to see your license anyway.
It got stolen.
Huh?
It got stolen in California. I'm on tour. We're just going to pick up a van from
I have my license,
She has all of her stuff. She was just interviewing me. We're making a documentary.
Oh, okay. What's your full name, sir?
My name is Anton.
All right, pull over right over there and let me run your license.
Sure. Whereabouts?
Just right over there. Anyway.
By this gentleman. Let me put this out. How you doing today?
You don't have anything illegal, any guns or drugs?
No, you're welcome to. You can search the car right now.
Okay.
Sir.
You don't have any problem with searching?
No, in fact, I'll waive that right now.
If y'all would just step out of the vehicle.
Okay. I went all the way through from California, like Oklahoma, Minnesota, all that. This is Georgia. Is the most beautiful state, I'd say.
Really?
Georgia. We're in Georgia.
Yeah,
we're in Banks County.
Yeah.
And when's the gig tonight?
When's the gig tonight?
I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have come along for this ride.
What I heard was they searched the car and there's weed and they get taken to jail.
I'm going to advise you should be right. My own fault, whatever happens to me. But I consent to have the car searched.
Anton was eventually bailed out by Bomp Records' Greg Shaw, but the band broke up that night. Anton played solo all the way back to Los Angeles. The rest of the Warhols met up with me in New York to play MTV and a few club shows. Weak album sales and an industry showcase gone awry were kind of stressing us out.
It was an EMD convention, which is a distributor, so all the retailers are there from Europe, Japan, everything. We just sucked. It just sounded like shit, and I was just like, look, I'm not going to lie about it. Pretend we're rocking, man, feeling it. I was just like, this sucks. This sounds like fucking shit up here, you guys. Can you just be patient for a minute? Meanwhile, Gersh is in the back. He's freaking out. These guys, it's the fucking last time they embarrass me, motherfuckers. And I'm like, how about fuck you, man? How about you get up on stage and fucking pull your pants down, you know?
But who was there? Was it just like a huge fucking...
Industry, fucking huge industry. Everybody that Gersh and those guys had said, this is the Great White Hope, this is the next huge band, these guys are fucking amazing, you know? So now Japan's like, well, I don't know. Japanese guys were like, well, maybe we'll put it out, maybe we won't, you know?
Dandy Warhols were a very big popular band among A&R people. I kept pulling up their sound scans too, and I guess, you know, the A&R people were like the only ones buying the record. The record sound scanned first week at, what, below 3,000, and has been dropping for the 2 weeks since. You know, the Dandy Warhols are the reason why people get laid off of record labels. I think that people spend so much money on these bands, and they make ridiculous videos, and when it doesn't all pan out, somebody's got to pay for it, right?
When you sign with a major label, they always tell you things like, you know, we're into careers, not hits. And you go, wow, that's got a nice ring to it. Yet if you don't produce a hit, they don't really give a fuck about your career, you know?
Radio promotion costs are ridiculously out of hand. Video costs are retarded. Executive salaries, expense accounts. The music industry is supposed to be this middleman between the artist and the consumer so that people can buy the records that they like. But somehow the music industry turned itself into this like evil beast that tries to screw the artists and tries to screw the fans, and And it's really obvious.
I have no respect for anyone working for any major label in any capacity whatsoever in the executive. They're all liars, they're all mediocre people with no talent. They don't know talent, they don't understand or like music in any way whatsoever. I dread to think what they're like in bed trying to have sex because, you know, their mind and body are not connected.
It's a fool's game to spend your life blaming the record company. Every label can break bands, every label can't. Ultimately, it's in the band's hands. So anybody who thinks like, oh, now we've got a major deal, we're home, we're safe, we're gonna succeed, it's just bullshit. Record companies screw up virtually everything they possibly can screw up. Not because they intend to, but it's probably the nature of all corporate organizations.
Major labels lose money on 9 out of 10 records, and they have 1 record out of 10 that makes enough money to cover everything. And I don't think there's another business in the world where you can have a 90% failure rate and still say you're successful. It's crazy. You should be able to make money off every record. You just have to spend accordingly.
Indie rock happened because of this, you know, because of what we have experienced being on a major label. What every major label says won't happen to you. They won't tell you what single to put out. They won't pick your, like, pop song. I mean, that's just bad advertising for the band, you know? Fucking clowns. If I had only been just a little bit smarter, you know?
I mean, we're requiring a level where people are getting to know it and acquire the music. That hasn't been done through being signed. That hasn't been done through a Buzzbin video or anything. That's been done all on our own. You know, we're on cover of magazines, not because some suit's backing it with his bread like everybody else. You know, we're there because we get there on our own, and that is the vibe we exist on.
I've been trying to talk Perry into signing them for a long time. Like, look, this is the last real rock and roll band. They're fucking awesome. They make great records, you know. You couldn't do anything, you know, like trying to control what happens or anything like that. But just give them the money, they'll make great records, put them out on the road, and they'll do great. Before their first American tour went south, literally, the Brian Jonestown Massacre had managed to attract quite a bit of industry attention on the road. Capitol may have finally listened to me as they offered Anton a modest record deal. He asked Michael Dutcher to represent him at the meeting, but Anton blew the deal within an hour.
I thought he was more together when I first met him. He gave that illusion for a period of a week. I think Anton, if he could really focus, could be in that elite group of people with, you know, Lennon, McCartney, you know, Bob Dylan.
Meanwhile, Adam Shore convinced TVT Records, the largest indie label in America, that the Jonestown Massacre was the best band in the country. Michael Dutcher feared that Anton's manic behavior would again blow the deal, so he sent Joel to New York in his place.
I've arrived in New York City. We're going to Swanksville here. The gutter boy.
You meet Joel?
Yeah,
Joel?
yeah.
Joel, Anton got an ear infection, and this morning we had to switch him up. He was not feeling like himself, and
He's
the
a pretty
doctor was
bad
a little worried. I don't know, he said at one point or another he got some kind of accident with his ears.
The TVT execs seemed to buy Dutcher's story about Anton's earache, and Joel charmed them over dinner.
I'm going to show you 4 places to sign.
This is just like the Declaration of Independence.
Exactly. Put your Joel Guion.
I have a briefcase. It's around here. Right.
Not bad, not bad.
Oh! 2 points off.
Is that bad?
It'll still be enforceable. It's a valid contract.
I want to say that I'm making a personal commitment not to screw with anybody's head, like in a bad way. You know what I mean?
Only in a good way.
Push drugs on little kids, and I'm not gonna promote fascism in any way. I'll promote.
Oh, come on.
I love making music, so I don't think we're gonna have any problems.
Okay, Anton, I'm going to pick up the phone, and Steve's leaving. And
Thank you, Steve, for your time, and I'll talk to you as soon as possible.
take care, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Okay, hit release.
One thing that we're absolutely 100% sure of, the Brian Jonestown Massacre can make records. They've made 5 records in 2 years and more and more and more. And like, you almost have to stop them from making records if they're making so many records. And like, we're a record company, so all we have to do is put out their records. Elektra and Sire and Capitol and all these labels, and like, what's their problem? You know, it's like, I like this band. I brought the band and the CDs to my boss. He really liked it. And within 3 weeks, we had a deal. You know, it's done. It's so easy. Like, why is everybody so scared? What's the problem?
This is your first signing?
Yes. A&R, it's very easy. Everyone should try it.
Hi. You guys have no idea who I just became yesterday. I'm very big. Very big.
What?
They don't want just Anton. They want Anton, myself, and yourself. And that's all right, you know? That's a whole different gig, you know, by contract. Adam's really scared about, like, what the fuck is this between you guys and the Dandies? And, like, yeah, I try and explain it to him, you know, like, the history and whatnot, you know? And he's like, well, I can't believe you're playing, like, Beatles versus the Stones gig when you guys are, like, so much better than them, and you're gonna totally transcend them, like, lickety-split. And it's like, well, you know, yeah, you know, they're target number one, you know, and then we'll move on, you know, then from there we'll go to Oasis, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? They're just the first in the line, you know, that's kind of the whole gig, you know what I mean?
I keep hearing little things in the press. There's just little mentions that, you know, they'd be dissing us, and it's just like, why? Just didn't understand that supposedly it was a rivalry that they were trying to start up to get press, but they didn't tell us that, so it was just sort of insulting.
Well, this is a special little present from our dear friend Anton. We were in San Francisco, and we were playing a show at the Purple Onion, and he just drove by in a truck, and I just happened to be outside, and he said, here's a present for you. I'll see you in a month. I'm going to India. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff in here. This lovely bar of soap came attached to this nice little card with a little message, clean up your act. Courtney Taylor, surrender. I was with Eric, and we each had we found these little things in here with individual names on them. Well, they're shotgun shells. Mark Iger had a restraining order taken out against Anton.
He's stalking us now. He's making phone calls at Courtney's room.
Did you hear that Bob
in the morning?
Mike and Heather are trying to get them off the CMJ show.
Good.
Yeah, I feel bad for everybody else in the band, but it's like I can't have Anton the insane guy.
I will not have him anywhere near me again, as much as I can avoid it. I will not share dressing rooms with them or backstages, anything.
I'll still buy their albums though.
Our management had thrown the Brian Jonestown Massacre off our bill at CMJ, but Anton showed up on the TVT Records dime to distribute his ode to us anyway.
What exactly is the adventure tonight, Greg?
We're going down to this stupid club to hang out in front of the place and annoy people. Show them just how lame we think CMJ and the entire music industry is. Reinforce the fantasy. How could they possibly mean anything?
Jack safe. Hey, backpacks in your trunk, man.
Whoa!
Okay. In the trunk, thank you. No.
If you have a stamp, you can get in.
All right.
I want him out of the building. The furry hat.
Oh, rollerblader guy?
Yeah, he's not getting in.
Oh, yeah.
Take
Someone
this.
I talked to on the phone.
Excuse me?
Thank you.
Sir,
To that.
Capital. Ready? Are you from Capital?
No.
Take this anyways.
Not for your last day on the earth, you still never be. Take it anyways. How'd you get Jason Cropper's badge?
Because, you know what?
He loves you?
No, I'm the son of God. I take whatever I
How you
need.
got it there? Hey, Jeffy. Wow.
Alright, this is the Brian Jonestown Massacre. This is the hot new single, Not If You're the Last Dandy on Earth.
What do you think of the 12-inch?
I think it's great. I read it wrong. I thought he wanted to kill us all. But he's actually someone else. Some secret alter ego. Did you see our signed copies?
It's his like little idea. We can get this whole like Blur Oasis thing going, you know. Like, yeah, maybe if both our bands were selling like 5 million records.
He's like, you don't even understand, Zia. You don't even realize how much money I've gotten for us. I was like,
Give me my cut.
I would never want to hurt you, Zia. If I wanted to kill you guys, I would have already did it.
Great.
Anton.
All right, man.
That's good to know.
Come in.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, I'm just dandy. How are you? Oh, thank you very much. None of you are the worst dandy on earth. Outstanding. Cheers.
Thank you.
No problem, sir.
I give him $300 in tips.
Joel charged $900 without tipping anybody my drinks. If I charged $900 in tips and then plus my drinks, what do you think they're gonna say? They're gonna say you're not allowed on our label anymore because you charged $32,000 in tips.
Anton, this is Dave Gottlieb.
How you doing?
Anton, this is Craig Shaw from Ball. Greg Shaw. Hello. Hey, Greg.
Anton from Brian Jonestown Massacre.
How you doing?
Gentlemen,
Just signed them.
Hey, guess what? Can you put him on hold for 1 second? I'm gonna make you a shitload of money. You too, mister. You too, alright?
All the money you want.
Okay, you're gonna need a backpack or a duffel bag to carry it. Alright? Accounting? Yeah. You guys handle the numbers?
Brian?
Guess what? You're gonna have to be counting a lot more money because I'm gonna be making you a shitload of money. Alright? Are you guys ready?
I'm not trying to like jack you for everything that I can get. It's quite the opposite, you know. I turned down bigger things to do this because I'm hoping that the freedom translates into something better. I can play 80 instruments and I produce the records, right?
But do you play an accordion?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Didgeridoo? I play all that stuff. Weird fucking Chinese shit I play.
There was never another artist on TBT before or after that had more excitement inside the label. The people who worked there were so excited to work the record, and they convinced the music industry at large that the Brian Jonestown Massacre were the next great thing. Definitely not an act. If he wasn't playing music, it's not like he would have get another job. It's not like it's like, okay, this music thing isn't working out, I'm gonna go like work in an office. Like, Anton can only do this one thing. Like, he is for real. What he is doing is for real.
Unlike America, European radio actually played our record, and only days after its release, the album was topping the charts in several countries. Eric, our drummer, had quit the band 2 weeks before, so I brought my cousin Brent to London instead. Eric wanted more of my songwriting royalties, and I had refused.
I don't think about you. I think about me. This is a business. Oh. Really? I write all of the songs. All of the songs. I produce the records. All the records. You know? I do everything. And yet I'm giving away half of my songwriting money, half of it, so that the band can pay rent and have fun and enjoy it, you know? And that's not enough? What are you, fucking stupid?
He says, we're going to Europe in 2 weeks. And he says, do you think you can learn all of our songs in 2 weeks? And I said, you're gonna make me sing already? And he stopped. He says, yeah? He says, if you can't sing, there's no real reason for you to be here. He says, you know, we'll go out and get a drink if you can't sing.
Stockholm to Madrid. There's gonna be a bus.
We're not a heavy airplay band, you know, we don't get the kind of airplay that Green Day got or the Spice Girls or, you know.
But it's mostly in America because here in Europe you've got a lot of airplay mostly.
Do it?
You know our record is number 16 in the UK? That's pretty incredible, huh? Our tour was sold out.
Brussels, Copenhagen, we love it. Stockholm, Malmo, Madrid, Barcelona. Hello, we love it.
It's gone ballistic. I've got some press cuttings in my bag to look at, and it's gone a bit mad. Everybody suddenly knows who the Dandy Warhols are.
Tickets for tonight. Buy or sell tickets. Tickets. Dandy Warhols.
How many records have you sold in America?
Including our parents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And in England?
Like the same number, like 40,000 or something. That's over a year in America, and that took a little under 2 weeks in England. Our tour was running very smoothly until a surprise visit by the French police.
If French custom find you again with cannabis, it's 2 times the penalty.
Yeah. Give me your special box for where you smoke cocaine. Your special box.
Cannabis, grass.
Not use being real tricky, like I was gonna just fess up, you know.
My band got away with paying a fine equivalent to 4 Dandy Warhols t-shirts, and we kept the grass.
We are a lucky band, and they are a not lucky band. Look what happens when they get pulled over by the police in Georgia or wherever it was. And look what happened when we got pulled over by the police in France. That's lucky, because we could have had, it could have all ended right there. Not, you know, the band's career, but that tour.
If you were going to be on the Jerry Springer show, what would your topic be? And who would you invite on to slap you?
What is it? Brian Jonestown Massacre? Oh, stop stalking me. Write songs about your own fucking band. They'd have that. That'd be the episode, and then they'd have the Brian Jonestown Massacre on.
And who is it? Who's this guy?
They're this band. They're great, and they're really good friends of ours. They're just kind of not very well adjusted people.
They're not right in the head.
It's kind of sad to see them be so dysfunctional and.
Because of potential.
Yeah.
Like, they're like the Velvet Underground of the 90s.
By this time, Anton had set up a really impressive home studio with his recording budget for TVT. He had his band around him again, and he was excited, ready to begin his career as a signed artist.
Instead of renting a studio and hiring a producer, something I'm really proud of was we bought Anton a studio so he could do it himself. And not only that, but so he could continually make music on his own forever.
Is this a whole studio right here?
It is a whole recording studio.
The TVT deal got Anton worldwide exposure as well. We couldn't believe it when we heard that they had been invited to Tokyo to play some shows.
Are you surprised to meet the Dandy Warhols? Did you pick that up? They don't have a deal that we do. There were bunch of girls, Brian Jonestown Massacre! And he was talking to them, and they started to cry and stuff, and then they laughed.
That was so cool.
Anton? Anton?
The feeling of hope that the Brian Jonestown Massacre had had in Japan died upon their arrival back in Los Angeles. Anton started using heroin heavily as he was supposed to start making his most important record yet.
Do you think it's gonna be interesting to see how our record comes out versus like the Dandies approached everything with that? Like how they did their shit?
How did they do their shit versus how you do yours?
They had, you know, a producer and they went to his studio and that guy ended up getting more gear for his studio. Courtney got whatever, you know? Tickets to go to Loveline and shit. Did you see this? How we got nominated for the California Music Awards for Outstanding Independent Album? Give It Back, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. You know, Dutcher thinks it's negated whenever I'm kind of down, you know? Like loaded or something. I take all these bad feelings and then just put it into music, you know? I let people interpret it how they will.
I regret the fact that I didn't know how far gone Anton was in the beginning. You know, I realize now that sort of I walked into sort of a MASH unit, you know, and I'm working in triage, you know, and I had to put as many pieces together to keep it working as I could. By December, I realized he was in no shape to make a record. I mean, he couldn't get it done. And then we had to enlist the help of Muddy.
Yeah, hi. We need to rent a DA38 or a DA88 in the next, 5 minutes.
Hey, you have Courtney's cell phone number. Tell Courtney to call me.
I think Courtney's in Europe.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, playing, huh?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
Fuck, I wonder when I'm gonna hang out with that guy. Probably never, huh? He hates us anyways. You know that? I'm sure of it now. Like, we'll never ever play with those guys again, I bet. Unless it's part of, like, the Danny Wells, unless it's part of, like, some KRQ Christmas fucking thing and he can't get out of it.
Fucking Oasis and we're gonna fucking take over the world.
Spirits were still good in the back rooms of the house as the clock ticked on the recording process up front, but it was floundering under the weight of constant drug abuse and fighting.
Okay, that's it. I know it's a party back here, but I'm gonna have to ask you guys to go outside or go because there's no way we can record. You guys are just too loud.
Good God, man, we had no idea we were recording.
We are recording.
We got into the house. It's a great setup, all these hundreds of instruments, because that's the beauty of Anton. He loves music. He had every possible instrument you could think about it. He had it there, and they were playing it. But he walked into the house, and it just felt like death was everywhere. It was just smack house. It was reeking of death, and I thought that was the last time I would actually see them.
There's so much more shit that needs to be done, though.
Really a lot.
Well, a lot of the music doesn't sound done to me.
You know, if it weren't for Matt, this record would have never come out. Anton wouldn't have been able to write any more songs.
I'm trying to make this good too, man.
Don't even do the intro. Leave whatever's there. Record the rest of the song. I'll punch it in if it's not right. I don't care. Just like, you don't have to.
Yeah, because we got all sorts of time to do fixed punch-ins.
Want to put the controller right here? I don't understand what the problem is.
That's not where I want to stick the controller.
Well, Money, then go home so I can work.
I will.
Thank you.
Anton fucking kicking Muddy out of the recording, fucking saying Muddy, well, maybe you should just leave, telling him to go, doing fucking dope again when Michael Dutcher, our manager, has told him that if he does it again, he's gonna quit and not manage us anymore. Anton is making a decision for all of us that he wants to fail.
Hi, the name of our band is the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and thank you. The reason why we haven't been playing out is we've been recording a new album that's called Strung Out in Heaven. She said,
Thanks. I know it's Matt. It's cool. He's doing revenge.
Now you know why they don't let kids do dope.
They don't let kids drink because fucking full-grown adults can't even fucking deal with booze.
And some adults can't deal with reality.
Now you know why we don't have friends.
Finding some fucking friends that are worth loving, and I'll
This was Matt Hollywood's song. He always sung it. This was Matt Hollywood's last show with the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Well, don't break up. But righteous brother. Bombs away.
It's like seeing the dark, dark side
of what drugs do. Well, it's because like all those '60s bands got into drugs. Like they were famous first.
There's just too much stress on my soul. I just want to be around some people that aren't hell bent on destroying themselves. You know?
Hello, Adam. This is Matt from the Brian Jonestown Massacre. Anton completely flipped out on me last night and attacked me. I've got a huge bump on my head and a giant bite mark on my side. And, you know, I just wanted to talk to you about that and maybe like what the future of this band situation and contract is going to be.
What are you going to do about Matt?
I'm not gonna do, what is Matt gonna do about Matt? I don't babysit fucking 26-year-old guys for a living, right? I make great records for a living.
Who's in the band now?
Who fucking gives a shit? Who is ever in the band? Whoever I say is in the band.
I don't really know the person he is now. I would rather almost just think of him as if he's dead or something and miss him.
It's my fucking band, I invented it. These guys quit and join as they feel like it, and that doesn't matter.
I would never manage another person like Anton again, because you can't have the hardcore sit down with them at times and say, Guy, you know, this is what's really happening in your life. You know, the illusion that you want to build in your head is one thing, but the reality is this.
I'm really tired because I've been doing business for 24 hours for fucking months. I still haven't been off work yet. And you missed everything. You don't even understand how big this is. They're flying fucking photographers from New York and making them do what I want. You're gonna follow me to a location right now. We're gonna go, we use your ID, your California ID, right? You have one? And we're gonna go pawn one of my guitars, okay? And we're getting $300 to make this photo shoot happen and have some scratch. Do you understand that?
All right.
So the movie gets better. So let's go do that. Invite everybody you know. Say you want to be in a Brian Jonestown Massacre 2-page spread and magnet by a pro photographer. You want to be in pictures and record covers and shit. You want to like be there like a Coca-Cola commercial for all of history. I go, check this out. Ready? Are you ready for this? Tell them to wear fucking white and come when I call. Tell them with all the fruit. Watch out.
Cool. Have a break.
You happy with it?
Cool.
I want it to be funny and rad and curiosity. I don't want that pre-packaged bullshit like the Andes are getting pumped. You know what I mean? I want to make it up as we go along. Do you know what I mean? I don't need some guy that lives in, which building is it? Capitol? I don't need some square in that round building me pre-packaging a fucking idea for me. I got more ideas than that whole fucking little office of theirs. Courtney is a troublemaker artist. I'm not. Do you understand that?
Shot. Beautiful. Hold on. Beautiful. Dot.
Upon our return from Europe, we began recording our next album, 13 Tales from Urban Bohemia. We recorded 13 Tales from Urban Bohemia.
Above a parking garage?
Above a parking garage, all the bunk you urinate in.
Recording 13 Tales was probably the best recording experience. The level of creativity was really intense. Every single day, a lot got done, and it was really inspiring, and that's the way I work the best.
You ever done that?
That's so sick.
Okay, here we go.
How did I get in like the coolest band on the planet like my first try? Like I saved up a lot of good karma, I think. Like when I paid for all the coke and everyone smokes my cigarettes and you know, I'm like, okay, well I'm getting paid back by being in a really awesome band, you know, and my good luck comes from it.
Okay, we need to drop this live. We want to start a new live.
Oh yeah, I'll wait tables too. No, I haven't heard your band, cause you guys are pretty new, buddy.
Yeah, we need to drop this live and start a new live. So that's it. We're going to go live once again soon. See you soon.